She exists now in a few grainy photographs and some yellowed newspaper clippings. There's little trace of her life story outside of this city's boundaries. And even though she was a public relations giant, she put very little effort into promoting herself. Thank you for joining us as we shine the spotlight on one of the most quietly influential leaders this city has ever seen. Her name was Miriam Rosenthal.
Miriam Rosenthal rose from a modest upbringing to graduate from college and write for the Dayton Daily News. James M. Cox was the newspaper's editor and one of the most powerful men in the nation. When Mr. Cox sent his cub reporter to New York City to help a public relations firm raise money for Good Samaritan Hospital, he set into motion a chain of events that would change the landscape of the art scene in Dayton forever.
Miriam found that she had a true passion for promotion and fundraising, so much so that as a single woman in the midst of the Great Depression, she decided to start her own business, Miriam Rosenthal and Associates. Everyone predicted it would fail. Everyone was wrong. By all accounts, Miriam had a magnetic personality and exceptional PR skills. Soon, the largest names in Dayton wouldn't make any moves or tackle a community project without her input.
And in 1937, when she combined her considerable promotion skills with a lifelong love for the arts to manage the Dayton Philharmonic Orchestra, her job would become her passion for the next 3 decades. Miriam's office in the Biltmore Hotel soon became a mecca for prominent people far and wide. Apart from the Philharmonic, she would also bring world-class opera, ballet, and dance to town long before there were organizations to do this.
And as the region began to thrive again, she would lead massive fund drives for charities and organizations, and hospitals and museums. She would help build our first interstate highway, plant the seed funds for what would become Wright State University, and championed the effort to build a number of buildings at the University of Dayton, including the one which would be dedicated after her death and named in her honor, Miriam Hall. In fact, Miriam's dedication to UD prompted one Marinus brother to famously utter these words about this devoutly Jewish woman: "I wish we could make her a saint."
In 1965, Miriam Rosenthal succumbed to cancer. She was 64 years old. She never married or had children, but she left behind a legacy of philanthropy unmatched by nearly anyone in the history of Dayton. To honor Miriam's memory, a group of prominent community leaders created what is now called the Miriam Rosenthal Foundation for the Arts. And through the years, it has brought to town some of the biggest names in the arts while still cultivating our homegrown talent.
In 2003, the foundation awarded its largest grant ever to underwrite an array of programs to open the magnificent Schuster Center for the Performing Arts. Just a few years ago, American Style magazine ranked Dayton the #2 mid-sized city in the country as an arts destination. We owe much of that success to the continued support of the foundation that bears the name of Miriam Rosenthal.
There was once a signed photograph in Miriam's office at the Biltmore from Governor James Cox. It read, "To Miriam Rosenthal, an institution the real public value of which will only be properly appraised in the calm judgment of time." Now, all these years later, we celebrate that institution. Thank you, Miriam Rosenthal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam.